differently? How would I help them, and how would I help them go on to the next level? So that was really critical, and it's really hard, think about it, because you can prepare up to a certain extent, but you really don't know the internal dynamics. You have no idea really what is the next big decision they're trying to make. So it's kind of being given cases to solve right on the spot. So, I mean, that was, always it's challenging. And I think just going in with an open mind and not worrying too much and kind of leveraging your learning that you have from the past is critical. And then establishing that personal relationship with the persons that are interviewing you is critical. I mean, because at the end of the day, you are going to be working with these people. You've got to kind of hit it off in some way, shape, or form, or everybody's going to be miserable. So I think as you are answering these questions, I mean, that's a critical component to be at personal. Show your personal side and figure out how you kind of draw that out of your interviewer rather. Anyway, so that's kind of been my path to success.
Oh, just to quickly add a couple things. So it was interesting for my new job. The interviews, I had several over the phone, more than I can count. Then I had 4 face-to-face, and then I had 2 more phone interviews because the people weren't available the day that I had gone in. And I found the phone interviews were actually more conversational. When I went in for the face-to-face, that's where they all had a laundry list of questions to make sure that I would fit into the culture and kind of have the same values.
What do you think that was, Betsy? Like, was it the people or?
Yeah, well, I think the ones going in for the face-to-face literally ended up that, and I didn't know this at the time, but 3 of the 4 people that I met with, I now work with on a daily basis. And so I think they wanted to make sure that I was a good fit with them as well as a good fit for the projects and the role and, kind of advancing.
Got it.
So, but it was very strange to go from where everything was very conversational, and then I went in kind of in that almost conversational mode, and they were, firing questions at me. Now, I do have to say, kudos to Off, because, you guys had talked about in one of your previous episodes of, like, the different questions and being prepared. And actually, Jelena, you may be the one that typed up your answers. And so I did that. And so I had, I followed that advice, and that made a world of difference.
Oh, cool.
Excellent. Really good. So you guys have networking, the interviewing process. Now, how did you make the decision that this was the right fit? Like, what made it that, like, yes, I want to pursue, and I'm gonna convert this to opportunity? Because you can say no. Mm-hmm. You don't have to take the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To Prem's point, it's very much a two-way interview, right? And you're assessing them as they're assessing you. For me, the key understanding of the function, what I would be doing, is this the right career move? Is this going to get me to where I need to next? So we all need to prepare those questions just as well as they need to prepare their questions and understand what are we getting out of it. So, that was my thinking in the conversation and wanting to understand clearly what my areas of responsibilities would be. I wanted to also make sure I'm not taking a step back and that I am at minimum getting where I was before, maybe even a step up. Given that I was going into a somewhat smaller organization, I felt this would actually be a step up. And so I think it's preparing me, or that at the time it would prepare me better for even the role afterwards. Because I think we have to kind of always strategize and think, this is the next step, but there is going to be another one after this. And where is this going to get us? What direction is our career taking? So those were some of the considerations going into it.
Jelena, I remember this. So I remember the time where you were debating, like,
yes.
Do I do this or not?
You and I spoke.
We spoke, and you may have spoken to some other folks. I thought you did a really good job of, like, feeling that out with a few people. Like, you weren't just sitting there by yourself trying to make this decision. It was your decision ultimately, but you started playing it against a couple of the, we obviously peers that worked together, and said, here's what I'm thinking. And you probably got a good number of points of view. So I thought that was a really, even when I was taking mine, I actually took what you did and did the same thing. And in my case, I had the networking opportunity. I had another opportunity through a recruiter that came up at the same time, and I had 2 offers on the table. This one just felt right. It felt like the people fit was right. The opportunity from working at an organization to more of a consulting, perspective, to be able to see the broader picture. and the people felt great. So between the mix of the opportunity, the responsibility and growth that, like Jelena, what you're looking for, and then just a really good culture that I could work in, I think that's for me what I took. But I just want to echo Jelena. Like, I called a bunch of people and said, here's what I'm thinking, what am I missing, before I accepted anything.
So I had, this offer come in, and then there was something else that was kind of percolating. And I just kind of did my own kind of soul searching and deciding what to do, right? Do I let this role go, after getting this offer and think about the one that's percolating? And I decided that what I had liked about, the company that, so I did accept the job, and what I had liked about it definitely were the people. And that had been such an integral part of the last job and company. And that was, that's what made it so hard to leave the other company. It just felt like you were being divorced, right? And so it really hurt, because you had so many friends and, family, at that company. And I was seeing similar kind of beliefs and attitudes in the people at the new company. And that, to me, is so critical. And that's why I decided, that was going to be the good fit. Additionally, I just saw so many, the company is fairly big and has a lot of different branches. And to me, it allows me to move on from this role to another role. They're very much in terms of, kind of planning what's your next role and the role after that. And the fact that I'm willing to either relocate or change roles or change functions or things like that, that's something that they really appreciate. So I know it's not going to happen overnight. I want to stay in my current role, for a couple years, but then I know there's so many opportunities, and that's really what, kind of solidified it. It was the people, the values, and the fact that there was growth and expansion after.
Oh, I think that's great. It's good that you guys did some soul searching and everything else. I know we're going to be wrapping up this one episode, but we did have one other question around, you guys leveraged networking so much and referrals. Did recruiters play a role at all for any of you guys?
Yeah, definitely. I, like Prem, also had another job offer, and that job offer came through a recruiter. And it's very important, I think, to network as well as continue to stay in touch with the recruiters, because there are definitely jobs out there that only go through recruiters. And so, it's important to kind of be active on both fronts. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think like I said, I had the other offer of the recruiter, but I had a number of other interviews, and most of them were recruiter interviews. Not all, but most of them. And so it actually was good practice. It kept me in touch with what was most important in the industry. What are the skill sets people are looking for? What are the capabilities they're looking for? So it actually allowed me, in preparation for what I eventually got, to stay just close to everything in the industry. Hey, maybe I need to read a little bit more on this, stay in touch with recruiters. And I look at everything not as a transactional short-term opportunity, but staying in touch with those folks. As I'm looking to hire on my team, I'm utilizing some of them to at least have conversations and reflect. I'm using one of them to just give me advice in terms of what type of leadership capabilities I should be focusing on in the future, because one of them is now doing some, coaching and things like that. So absolutely really important, helping me prepare, stay close to the industry, and think about for long term, to stay close to things that, trends in the industry as well.
For me, I'd probably say only 25% was recruiters, really. I think I only went forward with 2 roles through recruiters. The rest was all networking and reaching out or finding postings, and
job boards, right?
Yeah. But it's good to understand that they still do play a role. It's not like because of all the technology, they have gone away.
Right. No, and to Yelena's point, there's definitely some roles that they have that will never make it into kind of the mainstream. Mm-hmm. So I guess I did better on my own than with some of the recruiters, but, you still have to keep them, top of mind. And don't get me wrong. When people reach out to me, I still always say I'm interested. I'm still willing to talk and listen or whatever, or I've just started a new role, let's touch base in 6 months.
No, it's amazing how the dynamics have changed, right, in the marketplace. But now it's how do you find that balance? How do you leverage everything on the job, from job boards to recruiters, to help you in your job
And all the
100%.
networking events
Yeah.
and sort of doing the networking yourself and keeping connected with people. So thank you so much all for helping us understand what are those success factors in landing that job. And we're looking forward to the next series. We're going to talk a little bit more about your mindset. Like, has it changed? How do you look at opportunities differently now? How are you looking at the new job that you're going into as you continue your careers?
Well, that's great. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thanks.
See you next episode.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.
Shelley, it was great to have all three of them back and together at the same time to give their perspective on success factors to landing that job.
Yes, Linda, you're right. It was terrific having them back. And even better, they're going to come back next week as well. They're going to continue our series on starting a new job.
So, as always, you can find links to our episodes on our website, www.over50andfiredup.com.
And don't forget, you can also get our wonderful wine recommendations. And this time, too, we have somebody else doing it.
That's right, our guests. So please give us your feedback and stories by going on our website and clicking on Contact Us or emailing us at offnowwhat@gmail.com or commenting on our Twitter or LinkedIn sites.
And remember to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.